What's going on, everybody? Alex with you here again. As always, thank you for dropping by. Thanks for tuning in. If you've been following my previous videos and my channel in general, you probably have noticed that I haven't really posted any new videos recently. Probably it's been like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. Part of that having to do largely due to all the conflict that we've been having, all the turmoil, and I guess quite frankly my mind hasn't been in the right place. Most of my time I've actually been spending playing chess and watching news. I think in the past couple of days I've played about 36 games, and that's a lot more than what I usually play, because usually I try to play maybe 3 to 5 games per day. But if you play that many games back to back as I have, you'll probably notice that you just start to you start to make mistakes, you start to make blunders. But you know, it is what it is. I hope you guys have had a chance to play some games. So anyways, without further ado, I would like to show you guys a couple of things that I've recently been able to purchase on House of Staunton. I was actually kind of curious as far as what kind of chessboards are available for like scholastic tournaments, things that, you know, of that nature. And we've already seen in the previous videos that me reviewing silicone boards, mousepad boards, vinyl, what have you. What else did we do? We did wood boards, but one of the boards materials that I have not reviewed yet is paper. Paper boards kind of like this. Now you would say, why paper? Paper, this is a paper board, and it's very inexpensive. A vinyl board will set you back maybe $5, $6, $7, maybe somewhere in that range, depending on the quality. If you're trying to get in like wood or a special type of print, you might be looking at up to $10, $11. Past that point, you're probably going to be getting into the prices of mousepad boards. But even then, mousepad boards, even the most expensive ones, are probably going to be like under $20. The paper ones are like $1.30. So it makes a lot of sense for somebody who's say they've created a tournament, or you know they have a lot of people, a lot of players, and you need to on a budget get yourself, let's say, you know, 200 boards, 200 chess boards or something like that. If you order one, it's like $1.30. If you order 10, it drops down to like $1.20. The more you order, the cheaper it gets. So by all means, you know, spending $8 for a board for like a tournament versus spending $1 is a big difference. So I was kind of hesitant on even buying this, because I thought, why would I even need to buy something like this? Because, you know, aside from just showing to you guys. But one of my kind of thoughts about it before I even bought this board is it would be so flimsy. The board would just basically fall apart in my hands. And paper, you know, paper, like what can you expect out of paper? It would be like paper thin, you know. But I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised when I received this board. Yes, it's paper, but it's thicker paper. It's the type of paper probably that you see the boards, like presentation boards and stuff, you know, when you go to the store and get yourself like a nice big white presentation board to do stuff on. It's not see-through. It's relatively durable. I think you can fold it. Yeah, you can fold this, kind of like you would a paper. You can unfold it, and you can fold it again this way. And the creases stay in. Here we go. But for the most part, I can see that even with the paper board like this, you can have quite a few games. I mean, for $1. Now you would say, I mean, $8, $5 versus $1. You could spend an extra couple of dollars and get yourself a vinyl board that you can roll up and keep for a while. Why would you even want to have a paper board? Well, for one thing, if you have a tournament, that's one. But two is you could make notation on this, or you could maybe get a marker, and while you're playing a game, you can draw some arrows on this with an intention of, you know, let's say you're just going to throw this away at the end, or you're just going to keep it for further analysis. You could, you know, you could draw all kinds of things on here. You could make notes on the side like you would on, you know, on paper. You could, you know, show arrows for movements of pieces, and you wouldn't feel so bad, you know, ruining a chessboard, because it's just, you know, it's $1. It's not that expensive, and and yet it's still a good quality board. So just wanted to kind of let you guys know what to expect out of a paper board. This is a 2.25 size with the notation. On the bottom over here it says United States Chess Federation, has a little stamp, and that's it. That's one thing that I wanted to show you guys. Just this nice paper. They do have them in different colors. This one here I bought, I think it's like a purple type of color. It's nice. It's not like very striking because it's not a glossy paper. It's kind of like a matte finish. So it's not super reflective, and overall it's very pleasant to play on. That's one thing I want to show you guys. Secondly, do you guys remember the video where I've done the review of this little box, this little storage box? Well, I told you guys in that video, if you haven't seen it, you can go ahead and go find it and look at it. But I told you guys in that video that this is a small box, and I was very hard pressed to find a chess set that would fit in here. Until I found one, and look at this. I mean, this is a plastic chess set, but it's a Marshall analysis set. It's a Marshall set that I also purchased on House of Staunton, along with this little vinyl board. This is a really cool, unique board in the sense, why am I saying it's unique? It's because it's smaller size than a 2.25. Usually when you get a vinyl board, it's hard to find a size that's smaller. This is a 1.75 inch board. So this is a smaller vinyl board. When you roll it up, it occupies a lot less space. So unlike the bigger boards, you could probably fit this into a backpack. And that's what makes it kind of nice. The pieces are it's an analysis chess set. They're 2.875 Marshall plastic chess pieces, weighted. They have them in different colors. They have them in ivory, black. I believe they have them in black, and then they have them in this burgundy looking color, which I will show you guys here up close in just a minute. But 2.875 inch king analysis pieces actually fit here. They fit very snugly, but they do fit in this box. And so I finally found a chess set which can fit in this box, which is pretty cool, because I've been looking for one for a while. Not all 2.87 inch chess sets are gonna fit here, because this is a very small box, and like if you consider getting 2.875 or even smaller, shorter, like a German Nubel chess set, well, those chess pieces might tell you that the king is 2.875 or somewhere in that range, but the pieces themselves are going to be a lot bulkier than these, and as a result, like the bases are going to be bigger. It still won't fit here. So just because this chess set fits here and it's a 2.875 inch king doesn't mean that other, you know, likewise height kings will fit in this particular box. But anyways, once again, an analysis chess set like this set me back at $19. I think it was $19.95, $20. And I don't need a storage box because I already have one. The board here is a vinyl 1.75 it's a much smaller. What you see underneath here is that 2.5 inch, and you can just tell how much smaller this board is than the one underneath of it. Now you would say, well, you know, you could go bigger, go over a bigger board, do a 2.25. Why go with the smaller one? For analysis purposes, it probably is not, you know, not necessarily that bad of a thing to have a smaller one, because it occupies a lot less space, and maybe for analysis reasons you may not necessarily need anything super big. But in this particular case, I feel like the combination of these pieces and this board makes it a relatively well proportioned, you know, made chess set for not only analysis but also for just playing. Because sometimes, as I've previously alluded in some of my videos, you don't necessarily need a really large chess set if you know, if you want to play a game with somebody somewhere. Let's say you're going to like a local cafe. Those tables may not necessarily be very big. They might not be big enough to accommodate like a 2.25 inch board, because I mean the board is bigger, and some of those coffee tables are small. Similarly, like in a school setting, kids sitting at their desks, the desk is inclined towards you as far as I can remember, but still in a situation where maybe you'd like to play against somebody else, a lot of those desks aren't very big. So you may not necessarily be able to take out a much larger board with larger pieces. But having something small like this is convenient in some cases. So fully set up, as you could see here, proportionately it looks just like you would expect a nice tournament size chess set to look. As far as tournament size regulations, this may not pass for like an official tournament size. I'm not sure what they update their regulations periodically, so I'm not really sure if this size will pass. But as far as like the proportions of the chess pieces, they're, you know, very nice, and they fit very well for this particular board. As you could see, if you guys did not see you know, the dimensions of the bigger board underneath, you would say this is a nice full-size chess set. But it's a you know, it's a smaller set. It's a smaller set, and overall all the pieces are weighted. They have a, you know, a kind of a inexpensive green felt underneath, but every piece, including the pawns, is weighted. So you see, when even the pawns are weighted, they recoil back very quickly. But you could feel it. So even though the pieces aren't super big, they are big enough to where, you know, they feel very very much so easy to play. And we could do this. Anyways, it's a nice little set. Okay, here we see the kings a little bit closer. Here's the light king. In this particular case, the shade is going to be natural. If you guys are looking online, this is kind of more or less what natural will look like. Kind of has a sort of a light cream natural look, kind of a yellowish maybe. If you're looking for a white, then probably ivory would be your choice. And this particular one here is kind of a burgundy red, which, you know, in this particular case is the dark side. On the bottom we see here is just a relatively inexpensive type of felt. Similar to the felt that we've seen with some of the other plastic chess sets, the Barnes & Noble we've seen before had similar type of felt. I felt like back then I was explaining that I don't really care that much for felt like this, but I've come to realize that quite a lot of chess sets, especially the plastic ones, have felt of this kind. So I've just come in terms with being okay with this particular felt, especially, you know, as long as it doesn't come off or doesn't rip off, it's fine. These pieces are weighted, as I've said before, so they're not super heavy, but they're still very well proportioned, very well sized, and feel pretty good in hand overall. By comparison, this king here is a 3.75 inch kingfisher, so you could see how much bigger this particular king is, both in height, in weight, and also in how big the base diameter of this king is. Everything's proportionately bigger. So this would be more along the lines of what an official tournament size would expect you to have, is something along the lines of 3.75, 4, maybe 4.4. But these pieces are going to be a little bit smaller. So let's take a look at the other pieces. Here we see the queens. In this particular chess set, you do get 4 queens total, so one extra queen per side. The queens have a very kind of a conservative, yet still a little bit sharp top here. We've seen where these spikes in some chess sets, they kind of come out almost horizontally, and we've also seen to where they're so tucked in to where they're almost non-existent, such as the Fischer-Spassky 3.75 wooden chess set that I have. As in a lot of the Fischer-Spassky chess sets, the spikes are almost not there. In this particular case, they are a little bit spiky. For comparison, this one here is, once again, belongs to the 3.75. A lot bigger base, bigger weight, bigger everything. This particular chess set has a softer type of underlying felt as opposed to this one. But here, these are the queens. Here we see the bishops. From time to time, some of these chess sets, and I've had people comment on some of the videos where they'll see that if you look closely at some of them, sometimes you do notice that there might be a little bit of a tilt to the piece itself, where it's kind of tilted sideways a little bit, ever so slightly. A lot of people wouldn't even notice that, but some chess pieces do have a tilt, and it's not abnormal to see that from time to time in both plastic and wooden chess set. Here we have the slightly bigger, more of a standard size bishop, just for size comparison. Here we see the knights. As I've mentioned before, shape-wise, they're not terrible. They're nice. This particular chess set isn't trying to do anything unusual or super fancy. The mane in the back is relatively conservative. The tilt of the head is kind of a more or less neutral. It's not completely horizontal as we've seen in some chess sets. It's not completely tucked in as we've seen in chess sets like the Zagreb or the Dubrovnik. So it's kind of slightly tilted. We see for size comparison here. In fact, this particular knight looks a lot like this one, almost like the bigger brother here. We can see quite similar indeed. Here we see the rooks, relatively normal shape rook. There is, in some rooks, as we've seen in some chess sets, from the base, like we'll see the base actually kind of gets a little wide, and then it will, from the base, will go inward and will taper down, and then it'll either expand to the very top or it will stay the same way. Different chess sets, slightly different, small differences. In this particular one, it's very much so straight. There's not that much divergence at the base, but at the top you see shallow top, not too deep. Here we have a bigger rook for a size comparison. This chess set, by the way, is also plastic, but this particular one has a little bit more of a glossy reflective feel to it, whereas This analysis chess set's a little bit more matte. So in some cases, it's nice to have a matte chess set with a matte board. So that way, if you're studying your game or if you're analyzing, as you know, this is supposed to be an analysis chess set, then maybe you could do it in all kinds of different, lighting conditions. You can do it outside. You can do it in artificial light. You can have very strong light hitting the board, and for the most part, I think you'd be okay. So it wouldn't be super reflective or anything like that. Pawns are definitely on the small side, not super big. Still, their shape and the form of them is what you would expect out of a pawn. Nothing unusual, but they are definitely small pawns. Here's a bigger pawn for comparison. Just look at how much bigger this one. I at one point, maybe even several times, may have mentioned that if a pawn gets too small, I do have some reservations about that, because I feel like picking a pawn up, if it's too small, can become a little bit tricky. But because it has this ring around before you reach the top, that kind of helps to pick it up. I don't necessarily think it's too much of a difficulty at handling pawns like this. Obviously, if I had a choice, I would probably pick slightly bigger pawns, just because they are easier to play with. But once again, if this is supposed to be an analysis type of a chess set, then they probably don't expect you to be playing blitz or bullet games on it. So you may not necessarily need chess pieces that are super big. But unlike the previous video where I showed you guys that little wooden travel chess set, unlike the previous video, I feel like this chess set is still a lot better as far as being able to grab the pieces. So this almost to me feels like a very normal size chess set. Just everything's just a little bit smaller. Okay, everybody, well, that's about all I wanted to show you in this video today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed seeing these chess pieces, seeing these new chess boards. I've actually kind of been thinking about maybe downsizing a little bit as far as some of the chess sets that I've acquired. Once again, that's another reason why I haven't really purchased any new chess sets. It's just because I feel like sometimes I already have quite a few, so possibly maybe I'll consider selling off some of the chess sets that I'm not using, or just because a lot of these chess sets, unless I sell some, if I sell some chess sets, that'll kind of give me the funding and the incentive to maybe purchase some new ones. Or maybe get myself an electronic chessboard. I've been looking online at maybe getting like one of those Bluetooth enabled DGT boards, because I still have that DGT Pi clock that I'm still thinking about reviewing, but just because I don't have a DGT board, I'm not able to review the clock so much so as to show you all the capabilities of that clock. So anyhow, with that being said, maybe I'll sell off some chess sets. I haven't really had any luck selling locally, so I don't know, maybe I'll sell on eBay or something. I'll have to figure it out. Either way, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Please stay safe, and if you have a chance to play chess, by all means, play more chess, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.